Ladies and gentlemen, wake up. This is not a pep talk. This is a moment. This is the second your future either gets built or dies. You want to know why most people don't change? Because they're waiting to feel like it. And let me tell you something that will change your life if you let it burn into your soul. You will never feel like it. The life you want, the confidence you dream of, the money, the body, the business, the relationships, it's all on the other side of action. And here's the truth. You're not going to stumble your way into that life. You're going to have to force yourself to take action. If you think motivation is going to carry you through, you're already losing. What you need is commitment. What you need is a moment like this where you say, I don't care how I feel. I care what I do. Because what you do becomes who you are. Stick with me for the next few minutes because by the end of this, I'm going to give you the psychological weapon to take back your drive, take back your direction, and take back your damn life. Most people don't understand the real reason they're stuck. They think they're lazy, unmotivated, or just not the kind of person who can make things happen. But the truth is far simpler and far more powerful. Emotion drives motion. If you don't feel emotionally compelled to act, you won't. Not consistently, not when it matters. We don't change because we should. We change because we must. Think about any major shift you've made in your life. You didn't start eating healthy just because you read a book. You did it because one day you looked in the mirror and couldn't stand what you saw anymore. You didn't leave that toxic relationship just because it was a smart idea you left because staying became more painful than walking away. You didn't change careers because it made sense on paper. You changed because you felt suffocated, because your soul was screaming for more. Emotion, raw, unfiltered, uncomfortable emotion is the trigger. It lights the fuse. It gets you off the couch, into the gym, on the phone, out of the rut. The challenge is that most people are numbing the very emotions they need to listen to. They drown discomfort in distractions, scrolling, snacking, binge watching, instead of using it as fuel. But discomfort is not your enemy. It's your signal. It's life's way of saying, move now. If you wait until you feel motivated, you're done. That's the hard truth. Motivation is a mood, and moods are fleeting. But when emotion hits your nervous system like lightning, when your identity, your standards, your pride are on the line, that's when you shift. That's when you do the thing you've been avoiding. So how do you create that emotional fire? You raise the stakes. You stop sugarcoating your situation. You face the cost of your inaction head on. Ask yourself, what will it cost me if I don't change now? Who am I letting down, not just someday, but today by playing small? Let the pain in. Let the truth sting. Because when the pain of staying the same finally outweighs the pain of change, you'll move. And once you move once, you push through that first wall, something amazing happens. Action creates clarity. Movement builds momentum. And that momentum gives birth to belief. Suddenly, you're not just forcing yourself, you're becoming someone who acts, someone who follows through, someone who finishes. But it starts with emotion, not logic, not a plan, not another book or podcast or course. Emotion, raw, real, and personal. That's what creates the spark. And when you've got the spark, it's on you to fan it into fire. Emotion drives motion. So feel it all, the fear, the frustration, the disgust, the hunger. Let it flood your system. Then use it. Take action because you must not someday, but now. You feel that slight charge in your system, and that's progress. That's how direction is born. And here's where the second key unlocks everything. Discipline is a muscle. You don't need to be born with it. You don't need some mythical willpower gene. You need reps. You need moments where you don't feel like doing it and you do it anyway. That's how the muscle grows. Every time you show up when you'd rather quit, you reinforce a new identity. Every rep you take when no one's watching, when no one's clapping, when it would be easier to skip, that's how you become unshakable. Discipline isn't sexy. It's not glamorous, but it's freedom. Because when you train yourself to act independently of how you feel in the moment, you become dangerous. You no longer wait on motivation, mood, or inspiration. You act because it's who you are. Clarity comes from action. Discipline grows from repetition. You don't need more time, you need more movement. Get clear by stepping forward. Get strong by staying consistent. That's how you take back your power. That's how you force yourself to take action. You think some people are just naturally disciplined, like they were born with this magical ability to get up early, stick to routines, push through resistance, and stay laser focused no matter what's happening around them. But that's not how discipline works. Discipline isn't in your DNA. It's in your decisions. It's not a gift. It's a skill, and like any skill, it's built through repetition. It's not about being perfect. It's about showing up when it's inconvenient, when it's uncomfortable, and especially when it's unrewarded. People look at successful individuals and say, it must be easy for them. They're motivated all the time. No, they're not. They've just learned how to override their feelings. They've trained themselves to act regardless of mood. That's the game changer. Because motivation is fleeting, discipline lasts. And you don't need discipline for the easy stuff. You need it when your alarm goes off and your body says no. You need it when your mind tells you it's too hard, too early, too late, too much. That's when the decision is made. That's the moment of truth. The truth is, you build discipline like a muscle through pressure. Every time you do what you said you'd do, even when you don't feel like it, you get stronger. Every time you push through resistance, your threshold expands. And slowly, day by day, you stop negotiating with yourself. You stop entertaining excuses. You stop waiting to feel ready. Because readiness isn't a requirement, it's a result. It comes after the work, not before it. Discipline means you take control back. You become the authority of your life. And when you fall off because you don't spiral, you reset. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to continue. One more rep, one more call, one more page, one more hour. Those tiny acts, repeated consistently, are what separate average from excellent. But here's the part most people don't want to hear. It's going to feel awful at first. You're going to want to quit. You'll hate it. You'll be tired. You'll feel like it's not working. And that's the signal. That's the exact place you grow. That's where the new version of you is being built, not in comfort, but in resistance. You don't train discipline in moments of ease. You train it in moments of friction. When your mind screams stop and you whisper back, go. That's when you're forging something unbreakable. You're hardening your mindset. You're building grit. You're turning into someone who can trust themselves, and that's the real reward. Discipline isn't about punishment or rigidity. It's about power. The power to create, to follow through, to design a life instead of reacting to one. And once you realize it's a skill, not a trait, you stop making excuses and start making progress. You stop admiring others and start becoming one of them. Discipline isn't given to you, it's earned. Every single day, in the moment you decide to act anyway. Comfort feels good until it doesn't. At first, it's a reward. The sleep in, the skipped workout, the Netflix binge instead of the work you know you need to do. It feels like relief, like rest. But over time, comfort becomes a cage. And the scariest part? You don't even notice the bars being built. One excuse turns into a pattern. One skip day becomes a habit. And before you know it, you're stuck not because life held you back, but because you chose what was comfortable over what was necessary. The uncomfortable truth is this: comfort is the enemy of growth. Everything you say, you want the success, the discipline, the confidence, the body, the business. a lifestyle that lives outside your comfort zone. It's not found in ease. It's found in effort. And that effort will feel awkward, clumsy, painful, uncertain. That's how you know you're in the right place. That's the signal you're not playing small anymore. We live in a world that sells comfort like a drug. Instant results, instant pleasure, instant escape, and people get addicted. They chase what feels good in the moment and sacrifice what would feel great long term. They avoid discomfort like it's danger, but it's not danger. It's development. Discomfort is where transformation happens. It's where your old limitations get exposed and your new identity gets forged. Think about it. The first time you speak in public, you shake. The first time you step in the gym, you feel out of place. The first time you start your business, it's chaos. But those moments, the ones that make you sweat, overthink, want to run, those are the moments that shape you. That's where confidence is born, not from thinking about doing something hard, but from doing it badly and pushing through anyway. You won't grow by staying safe. Safe is predictable. Safe is repetition. But growth is risky. It requires courage. It demands that you bet on yourself without a guarantee. And most people won't do it, not because they can't, but because they've been conditioned to believe that comfort equals success. It doesn't. Comfort equals stagnation. You grow when you're stretched. You change when you're challenged. You rise when you're forced to. So if it feels uncomfortable, good. If it scares you, even better. That means you're heading somewhere new. Discomfort is not a red light, it's a green one. It's the signal to lean in, not back away. The next level of your life will demand a next level version of you, and that version doesn't live in your current routine. That version's buried under the things you've been avoiding, the tough conversations, the hard habits, the daily discomforts you keep postponing. Stop worshiping comfort. It's not your friend. It's a liar. Choose the stretch. Chase the challenge. Embrace the resistance. Because growth doesn't come from what you like doing. It comes from doing what needs to be done, especially when it's uncomfortable. Your life is not defined by what you say you want. It's defined by what you're willing to tolerate. That's the brutal truth most people avoid because it's easier to dream big than it is to raise your standards. You can have all the vision boards, all the goals, all the intentions, but none of it matters if you continue to accept less than you deserve. If you keep tolerating excuses, distractions, procrastination, low effort, toxic relationships, and mediocre results, then don't be surprised when life keeps handing you more of the same. Life doesn't give you what you hope for, it gives you what you demand of yourself. People think change is about addition, but real transformation often starts with subtraction. It's about refusing to accept what's been holding you down. It's about finally saying, I'm done living like this. That's when the shift happens. When you draw a hard line in the sand and raise the standard of what's acceptable, that's when momentum starts. You can't build a powerful life on shaky boundaries. You need to decide clearly and loudly what is no longer okay. And no, it's not easy. It means having difficult conversations with yourself. It means confronting your patterns. It means holding yourself accountable, not just when it's convenient, but when it's brutally uncomfortable. You might lose some comfort. You might lose people. You might lose parts of yourself that you've outgrown. But what you gain is alignment. What you gain is power. Every time you say, it's fine, when it's not, you lower your standard. Every time you say, I'll do it tomorrow when you could do it now, you train yourself to procrastinate. Every time you accept energy, behavior, and habits that drain you, you tell your mind, this is normal. This is what we settle for. And eventually you forget what high standards even feel like. But here's the thing, you are always one decision away from raising them again, from saying no more, from forcing yourself to rise. Raising your standards isn't about arrogance. It's about ownership. It's about recognizing that your future depends on what you allow today. And when you hold yourself to a higher level, when you expect more, demand more, and refuse to break that promise to yourself, your environment starts to shift. People treat you differently. You walk with more certainty. Opportunities appear not because the world changed, but because you did. The truth is, you're not stuck. You're not broken. You're not lost. You're just used to living below your potential, and you've called it normal. But the moment you stop tolerating the old version of you, the moment you raise your expectations and force yourself to meet them, that's when everything starts to change. Not magically, not overnight, but steadily, powerfully, relentlessly. Raise your standards, and your life will rise to meet them every single time. So here's the bottom line: you can wait, you can wish, you can hope that someday the perfect moment arrives. But it won't. There is no perfect moment. There is only now, right now, this second, this breath. This is the moment where everything changes if you decide. You either keep negotiating with your excuses or you declare war on them. You either keep choosing comfort or you choose to grow. You either keep tolerating average or you raise your standards so high that anything less feels unbearable. You've heard the truth, not the sugar-coated version, but the truth that sets people free. Emotion drives motion. Clarity comes from action. Discipline is earned. Comfort is a trap, and your life rises to the level of your standards. That's not motivational fluff. That's the raw formula for transformation. But it only works if you do. You have to move.